That's CLI command line interface. We'll look at GUI, vehicles user interface. Then we'll look at Linux. What is Linux? And then what can we use Linux for? What is it designed for? We'll look at different distribution of that Linux. Then we'll also look at Windows plus PowerShell. What is Windows? Why is the PowerShell very important and necessary? We'll also look at users and privileges. Then we'll look at Kali Linux as a whole, why Kali Linux, and what is it basically used for. So that's what we'll be looking at today. So let's, without wasting time, I already sent this material to you, right? I might not be looking at it that much, but I will have to refer to it whenever I need to. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, please, I want you to always give me that sign that you can
Yes,
hear
I
me.
can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's get straight into it. First of all, what is CLI? What is GUI? As I said yesterday, there is a whole lot of need. There's a reason why we, as security experts, have much work to do. One of the reasons why we do have much work to do is because we secure systems, we secure infrastructure, we secure network, and we're supposed to secure data and information that are embedded, stored, or used by these devices. So because we're supposed to do all of that, there's a need for us to understand the architecture supporting the data as a digital conversation, communication, data, the network we use or we want to secure, right? For example, if you find yourself in an environment where they use endpoints like Windows, Linux, and every other endpoint, so there's a need for you to understand how to secure those endpoints. You won't say, I'm quite familiar with Windows, I want to stick with Windows. It doesn't work with security. You need to understand how to secure Windows operating system. You need to understand how to secure Linux of any type operating system, and you need to know how to use them very well. So because of that, we'll be looking at two critical aspects, right? Some systems basically understand or uses CLI, which is the command line interface, while some other system use the graphical user interface, right? So we'll look at that in a context. In its context, we'll look at that. And why does this class matter? I said before, there's a need for us to really understand a whole lot. Every breach you ever read about, every reconnaissance, every ransomware story, every leaked database, every compromised account ended with somebody somewhere typing a command in the command line, or it could be a GUI. But in most cases, it's basically a command line. So somebody taking over your system, creating malware, running payloads, all these things happen somewhere by somebody running commands on the command line. So because of this, we understand the concept of CLI, understand what we can do with it. We also look at GUI, what can be done with it. Right, that's the reason why we are doing what we are doing. So another reason is because attackers are cybersecurity, whether cybersecurity experts and attackers, they use share commands very well. Share means a CLI, a share opening up, and a raw command. So we use it very much. So we use it to move, we use it to persist, we use it to infiltrate, we use it to write commands. So because we use it very much, there's a need for us to learn how to use it. The vendors also use it to detect, we use it to contain, and we use it to respond. Same to different intent, right? The same CLI for attacker is to do damage, but the same CLI for a defender is to protect and respond to attack. So Linux command line essential. So we'll talk about Linux command line. We'll look at the navigations, permissions, the networking, and we'll look at some few commands right now. There's a research I would love you guys to do after class is you should go and run on the internet and check which system is most used in terms of corporate world and enterprise network. So if you go and check, you discover that Linux is one of the most system used in an enterprise environment, especially when it has to do with server this, Linux server that, Ubuntu server here, Ubuntu server there, right? It's one of the systems that is quite, that is commonly used. Why is that so? First, it powers the target. So for example, things like web server, cloud workload, Android phones, router, all of these IoT devices, almost everything runs on Linux. Secondly, it powers tools. Linux system have tools that can support defenders and attackers to perform their job. Yeah, we have tools from Wireshark to Metasploit to Emma to Bobsuit. All of these tools are embedded inside the Linux system. So it is a very, very important tool or system to us as cybersecurity defenders. So another thing is it teaches you how system really work. Linux is open source. Because it's open source, you can really understand how system works, right? So as a security expert or defender, cyber defender, what Linux can do for us is to teach us how system really work. So let's quickly talk about the navigation, moving around the system. So there are a few things you need to know when you are moving around Linux system. So let's get straight into it. Uh, Please, I will not be referring to the document, right? So I'm basically in page one of the document. If you must know, navigating the system. That's where I am right now. Navigating the system, right? A typical we talked about. It's okay. Let me just do an overview. Then I get into my CLI without coming back. Uh, in a typical graphical interface, when I talk about graphical interface, I'm talking about the interface that you can relate with, that you have icon, you have what to click on, right? This is basically a graphical interface. You can browse directory using a mouse, but on the Linux terminal, yes, you need to use various commands to navigate, interact with files and directory. This session is designed to teach the basis of Linux navigation, including navigating directories, listing directories, managing files, and using shortcuts for efficiency. So one thing we'll first of all look at before talking about navigating directories, let's talk about Linux file system. Let's look at the structure, right? So if you look at this part down, you discover that I have a simple structure here. So Linux file system, whenever you have the forward slash, just the forward slash, is a root directory, the base of the file system. So when you have the bin or slash sbin contains essential users and system binaries. So the slash etc contains system configuration file. Slash home contains personal directories for users. Slash var contains variable files like log, database, while slash user is a secondary hierarchical for users data, contains most user programs and utilities. So we'll get started with it right away, right? If at any point you can't hear me, let me know, please. You can make a call, you can do anything.
Okay.
So let me quickly get into it.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
okay, so now navigating or moving around the system sit here. So one thing I wanted to know, we have the root, as we talked about, we have the home directory, we have the user directory, the etc directory is there, the var, which contains the log and databases. All of these are directory. So it is basically stated there on the document. Now, here is before us a CLI, an interface, a terminal. We call it terminal, right? So when you are around the terminal or when you are facing the terminal, especially if you has to do with Linux operating system. A lot of systems use terminals. For example, if you're quite familiar with Cisco devices too, router or switch use terminal too, right? But what I'm talking about now is Linux terminal. When you are faced with a Linux terminal, there are few things, very limited things that should come to your mind. And these things are limited to the function of that system. For example, Linux have commands that are supposed to function on it. So by the time you are faced with a terminal, the same way I'm faced with a terminal right now, is to basically enter those commands that are designed to work on a Linux system. So the first thing that we do for every first person interfacing with a Linux terminal is to use a simple command, which is print working directory. Print working directory is called PWD. What do you really do with this PWD? It is used to print or to know where you are working from, who are you, and what you I mean, where you are working from, right? So are you working from a certain directory? Okay, when I talk about directory, I simply mean it means folder. In other words, it's a folder directory. So in Linux, we work with directories a lot. You can be in a directory and be working from a directory because it's not GUI, it's CLI. So you need to be inside of the directory and work on the directory. For example, if you are navigating a GUI like Windows operating system, if you are in the file explorer and you're inside documents, that's a directory you are in. But because it's GUI, you might not really know it's really serious. But in Linux, once you are in the documents, you are working there, that's where you are working. If you move out of document and you try to repeat what you were doing, you can't get it because you've moved away from your working directory. So the first thing I would do with the command when I am faced with a Linux system is pwd, print working directory, right? Is to ensure that I know where I'm working from. For example, if I let me just do, if I decide to say cd desktop, right? Now I'm in a different directory. So if I want to check where I'm working from, for example, I will type the pwd. I'm in home, Kali, and desktop. I'm working currently inside desktop right now, right? I'm working inside desktop right now. So let me just go back a bit and so that's the first thing we do. The second thing you want to do when you get into a Linux system is list the content in the directory because it's a CLI. You can basically see what is inside the system, right? What you need to do is to list the content of the directory. So in this case, we'll use the command ls. Ls is a command for lists. Then let me just get to it, enter, right? So now by the time I hit ls, which is list, and enter, so I can now see that I have things that are contained inside of the directory. Before now, you saw me move to a change directory to desktop because it exists within my directory, so I could easily change it to desktop. But apart from that, we have other things that does exist inside of this particular directory, right? By using the word ls. So apart from just using the word ls, what if I want to see content? I mean, I want to see the directory. I want to know the files. I want to know who owns them, right? The owner of this file. How is the privilege managed? What if I want to see all of that? What do I do? So I'll go with the ls dash L is to check for file users observe, right? So the results of this command is quite different from this, right? So the dash L is to list the file in a different way, right? By showing the owner of the file, the group owners, the user privilege. What is a privilege? Is to know which file is actually a directory. I mean, which of those is actually a directory and which but this one is also a file. So if you take a closer look, you will see that we have all of these in front of the name here, right? It means a whole lot of things. So by the time, at some point, we'll get to trying to understanding what this thing makes, right? So this is another way to check for file, but to know some of the properties that are associated with the content in a particular directory, right? So there's another way to check. What if there are hidden directories, things that I can't see? How do I view it? So I can as well just go with ls dash a. So A will help reveal every hidden directory. If you check very well, we are seeing a lot of things that are not seen before. We've not seen before. You can see the dot dot, the dot bash logout, the bash ROC. There are a lot of them. The config, the cache, the pursuit, the Montego, all of these are were all hiding. They were all hiding, right? I had to use a command, which is the A, to unveil hiding content within the directory and those that are not hiding. So you can see by just running the ls alone, we are left with this limited options by viewing what can be seen, right? But by using the ls-a, we can discover that there are a lot of hidden things inside of that directory. So that's one thing I want you to know. So another thing I want you to know in this case or scenario is that we can change directory. So we can change directory within the existing directory and change it to another directory, or we can change directory to a different directory outside of our current working directory. What do I mean? So I'm currently working here. Let me do ls again. First of all, clear this up. So ls, right? So this is my current working directory. Remember, if I do pwd, I'm working at Kali right now. Home at Kali, right? So I'm basically working at Kali right now. So now with what is obtainable here at this present directory, you can see I have Adura, desktop, downloads, lab files, and a lot of directory and files under this present working directory. Now I can change directory to into a directory within my present working directory. For example, let's say I want to go into downloads, I want to get into documents, I want to get into pictures, like I'm just suggesting, right? So let's say cd documents, right? So what I'm trying to do is to change. Remember, I was working before now at Kali, at home Kali, right? I'm trying to move into a different directory, but within my present working directory. I want you to understand that within my present working directory. So I hit enter. Now, if I go with pwd, you will discover that I'm not just at Kali, but I'm now inside document. That's where I'm currently working from. What did I do? I just changed from Kali where I was into document directory within the same working directory of Kali, right? So if I want to go back in this scenario, I can just easily go back by using cd dot dot, right? To go back the directory behind, right? So let's get into desktop and see. So now that we're in desktop, I told you before, I want to clear up the screen. I told you before, whenever you are faced with a directory, the first thing that comes to your mind is to, okay, what am I working from? I know, okay, I'm working from home Kali document. So basically, I might not have privilege user, it depends. Then secondly, you want to know what are the contents within this directory. Well, how do you do that? ls, right? I'm just recapping. So you can see there are many content inside of the directory. You can see many content, and let's assume you want to know the privileges or the properties that are attached to this content. Could it be it is you want to know the owners, the privileges for the users, when it was created, you want to know all of this. So you do your ls dash l to get the detailed view of what exists here. So if you hit enter, so you can see all of this that really exists within. Then if you want to check for hidden files that are within the directory, what do you do? As we said before, you do ls-a to reveal every hidden file. I'm not currently sure. Okay, we have some hidden files within the directory, right? So that's just a way to recap what we have said by moving out of the directory. So let's go back a bit to if I do PWD right now, it's called that I'm in Cali, right? So
Yes.
what we just did is moving into a directory or changing the directory within the present working directory of Cali, right? But what if we want to move out or change directory to a directory that is not presently at where we are working from? For example, if I do ls, just observe there are few files, there are few names you can see here. Let's assume I just decide to move into var right log. What do you think of this? This present directory, it doesn't exist here, right? So what I did
Yes.
here is to move away from change directory from my present working directory to a different directory. So where I entered or where I changed my directory to doesn't really exist here within the very present directory under the Kali, right? Where I'm working from. So right
But sir,
now,
sorry, I just want to ask you, but it is on the system.
yeah,
If
yes,
you actually,
yes, this
if you
directory
use,
is on the system.
if you use the LSA, it will probably bring it out. LS dash A.
Dash A might not give you, no, you will not see it. Okay, let's try to see if that's true. Uh,
LS, LS dash A.
no, I want to just go back a bit so that we'll confirm that. Now, this is where we were before. So if I do ls-a, you might not see the var directory. Just take a look. Look, we have the 100, the bash, these. So basically, I was working from var. We have the boss suits, right?
Yes.
Right. So that particular directory I changed to doesn't really exist within this place, this directory. Uh, I might want to suggest that it does exist at, let's check, at home. Oh, sorry, that's supposed to be home. It does exist at home, right? This is a different directory from Kali at Kali. So if I do pwd, you will see that I'm no longer home/Kali, I'm just working from home. So this directory I'm talking about might exist here at home, which is different from where I was working from. So if I do ls, so you see it's not even here. Kali is not here. Kali. So I think where we can find this particular directory is when we change directory to root, right? So I'll change that. This is a little bit, I didn't want to get to this point because of your question. Let me just explain. So I've changed directory to root. Remember I said the forward slash means root, right? The present root directory is the base of the file system, the base. Everything exists from here, right? So if I do my ls, could it be that vice here, of course, is here, is at the base of the file system, right? So what happened was I was here at Kali, right? Kali directory. I could change directory beyond the present working directory into a file that is located at the base of the system, which is the root, root,
So
right?
this CD slash means like the sign, the command means to
Okay,
the
yes,
root.
exactly. This forward slash without anything adding in front is root. That means you are trying to change direction to the base of the system, the root of the system. I don't know if you get me.
Okay, sir.
So you are trying to move to the root. From the root, that's where everything basically exists. Remember, this home, look at this home. Inside of the home, that's where we have Kali. Kali here, we. Inside of the Kali, that's
Yes,
where
sir.
we have some tools like we have some things like 100 rats because inside of home Kali we had desktop, document, and stuff like that, right? So without home in this context, Kali might not exist, and without Kali, you might not have all these documents. But for home to exist, that means the root directory here, the root directory must exist because inside of the root directory, that's where you have home.
Okay.
That's where home
Good.
is. That's where the var where we navigated into is too.
Okay.
So let me just do pwduc. I'm working from root slash. It would not
Good.
tell you root, oh, but slash
Yeah.
forward
Flash.
slash. I'm working from the root directory, the base of the Linux system. So here I can now do change directory to home to go back to where I was. But see what I did. Changing directory here, this CD I did from this point is basically I specify, okay, go to root directory, observe, go to root directory, which is this forward slash, look for
Yes.
var. When you now enter var, look for log
Good.
and open it for me. That's what I did. But right now, I basically don't need to write that long command. What I just need to do, because I'm in the root directory already, I'll just do cd uh, var. I'm in var already. But when I wasn't in var, guess what I did? I cd forward slash as root directory, look for var, then get into var, open log for me, right? But now that I'm in root directory, I don't really need to add the forward slash in
Root.
front because var is presently at the working directory, is at my present working directory. So if I now type pwd, guess what? You see forward slash var. That means I am root then var, right? So if I do ls, you see the content that are in var, right? One of the content I entered was log. Log
Log.
is here, right? So instead of doing that long, I can just do cd log. So I am a log. So this is what I did while I was working from this directory, working from this directory, which is basically Kali, right? So it's very easy to navigate. Remember, we are talking about navigating Kali system. It's very easy to navigate your system, right? So if you want to check ls now, you see the content logs. These are your logs, alternative logs, one, two, Apache log, Apache logs, the DVW the GVM, or the journal, NGs, Mosquito, run it, Postgre, all of the logs are seated here. So that's a discussion for another day. Now, how do I go back to my home Kali? To do that, because I already know if I do cd dot dot. Okay, now see the dot dot is to go back a directory behind. Observe, I am presently here at log. So if I do cd dot dot, I'm moving back to var. If I do cd dot dot again, I'm moving back to root, right? Just watch. Right now, I'll move away from log then to var. If I do it again, I'm moving from var to
The root.
root. So it's just a way to go back one step backward, right? So from where if I want to do ls now, you discover home. Yeah, where I was working from initially was home at Cali. So to move into that, I already have know what it is in my mind. So I'll just go with cd forward slash home, then Cali. Cd forward slash home, then Cali. Hit enter. So if I should print working directory, I'm presently at my working directory. If you can see, presently there, and my working directory. So let me quickly clear the screen so that we continue to progress further. So I don't know if you understand that point. I've used three commands, except that ls I use other options. The first command I use is when you are faced with a Linux system, you should engage with pwd to know where you're working from or where you are faced with a share. I also talked about list command where I said to list the content. You can do ls to get the properties of each content that is in the directory. You can do ls-l. Now to list hidden directory, you cannot do ls-a, right? Then we also talked about cd, trying to change from a directory to another. Now let me move into the log. What's cd slash var slash log, right? So if you do ls, for example, you discover that we have a lot of content. What of if I want to view some file, right? If I want, this is a file, right? What if I want to view it dot log? I want to see this log. What if I want to see this log? What do I do? Right? How do I view that log? There's a command called cat, C-A-T, which means concatenate. Concatenate is a command used to view logs, right? Now, I don't have authentication logs, but let's view boot log. I have boot log. So what I would do is to use the command cat, then boot, sorry, boot log, right? So now you see need permission. Let's talk about permission quickly. So because this needs permission to open up, let's quickly use the opportunity to discuss permission. What is permission? Now, if I should type a command, watch, who am I? You discover that you are Kali. Now, the next thing you want to try to figure is, does this Kali have the permission enough? Does it have enough permission for me to perform some command? Now, Linux is one administrative system that does authentication a lot. Oh, sorry, authorization, not authentication in this case, authorization. Now, you can't run some command on the share except you have the privileged rights to do that. You, as a user, you can't just run commands, except you have the right to do that, right? So, because of that present condition situation, so what you need to do is to obtain higher privileges or rights in order for you to perform some activities. Please just give me a moment. I want to power my electric fan, please. Okay, thank you for that. I hope the sound is not disturbing you. I just
No,
had to,
sir.
okay, I was feeling too much heat. They just took my light, so I had to power the fan. Okay, so that's what, how do we do permission now? Now, because we needed permission to run this, so remember, I will introduce a new command that I've not used called sudo. Sudo, S-U-D-O. What is the meaning of sudo? Sudo means super user do, right? Now, trying to run the command by elevating, try to run a command on with a user account that is not that does not have enough privilege. by elevating its privilege using sudo, right? So sudo is a command that helps to elevate privilege of a certain user to run some certain command that they are not supposed to run by their default or standard accounts. I don't know if you get that thing, what I said.
Not
Well, I got
exactly.
it.
Okay,
Like he said, the privilege, like it gives rights, like the admin rights, something like maybe like admin rights to
okay.
elevate. How do I call it? Sha? It gives other, it gives like the command is a command that is used to give like rights,
Elevate
privileges.
privileges, exactly. So sudo is used to elevate the privileges of a certain standard user so it could perform some administrative task. Just in case you see it in an exam, guess what? You are writing exams every 2 weeks in my class. You do serious exam. It's not joke. I want you at the end of the day, as you are stepping out, you can recommend your friends because of the value you get. All right. So please note how I'm putting it. I'm already working on the video. I hope the sound is recording, so we'll get it to you maybe before Sunday. So at least once I make a video, 2 days after that class, I can deliver it to you so that you can have it on your archive. But if you can record from your end, it's fine. When I share document, please read it. Sometimes I pour these things inside the document so that you can easily get it. So now let's get into is sudo. So I will now use the word concatenate because I want to check the content of the boot log. So by the time I do this, the next thing that my account will literally request for, because I'm trying to elevate privilege, is to enter the password of the system. So I will get into it. Then at the end of the day, I have the access to view. Remember, I said cat command is used to view the content of a file. Please, let's get this right. We have two different content within a directory. We have within the working directory, we have directory or folders, then we have files. They are two different content. If you want to enter or view the content of a directory, use ls. Or if you're entering it, use cd into it. Then use ls to view the contents of a directory. But if it's a file, you can't enter a file. It's not a directory. You can't enter. The only thing you can do with a file is to view the contents, see the contents that are within the file. And seeing the content, use the command cat. So right now, this is a log file, boot log file. You can see the content. So from Friday 15th, this is today, right? So this particular log was captured for today. You can see when I was booting the system, see the time it happened, everything, all the files, what exists there. So you can see everything that existed on the file. So basically, okay, right? So that's that with viewing of files. So the next thing, basic command I would like to do here is let's assume I want to view I want to view few information. Let's assume this log was quite much. Can I get to Apache log? Let me see if I can get much log data. So what I will do here is I will just do cd backward, then ls. There's Apache here, right? I don't think I have it. Okay, let's get into log. Ls Apache, sorry, cd log. So ls Apache should be, yeah, there's Apache 2 here. So I want to get into Apache 2. I guess I might have a lot of log or to deal with there, or PostgreSQL. I might have some logs to deal with. So let's get into Apache 2 quickly. So I will just do cd Apache 2. So I want to see if I will have authentication log, I have access log, error log. So let's try to view access log. Sudo, remember trying to have that privilege, cat access log. So I don't have much inside of it. I'm looking for where I can get more logs. Okay, I can go back a bit and check for GVM. So inside of it, can I do ls? So let's try to see if I can do sudo cat gvmd log. Don't have anything. So I will just stick with the previous log I was working with. Okay, so I will stick with the boot log I was working with. Now let's assume you have a log which, I mean, you have a file with too much content inside of it. You can't read it all. Maybe probably you just want to see the last logs, the last few logs, or you want to see the first few logs. There are commands we can use to achieve that. There are commands we can use to achieve that. One of the command is less. Now, because I want to view few content of the log, I can just do less. That's less. LEXX. Then, well, let me add there the sudo less, then I can now view boot the log. So what will happen in this case is maybe binary, see anyway, of course. Boot log may be binary, see it anyway, right? I just view less of the file. It wasn't much. I have to see less of the file. So we have other things you can use. Let's assume inside of the log file, there are things you want to monitor. So let's assume I want to monitor, I mean, there are things you want to figure out. It could be much, too much for you to find. Let's say you want to find a name inside of the log. You want to find error log. You want to find when the system did not boot well, stuff like that. So you can use some command find. Find command is used to find a string. When I mean a string could be a name, it could be anything within an existing file. So let's say I have a file with 100,000 words inside of it, 100,000 words, right? So I want to figure out a line inside that file that they wrote Prosper is a boy. Because it's 100,000 words, I can't just be looking from top to bottom, like I might be confused. But now I want to use the command just to figure out that line where they wrote Prosper is a boy. You know what I will do? I will use the command find, then string Prosper out, then it will print out. I'm using the word print now. That's what it will print out that line where they wrote Prosper is a boy or Prosper anything. So long Prosper appears in the line, it will show instead of showing the entire content of the file, right? I don't know if you get that explanation. Find is used to search for a particular string within a file. So if you are dealing with a file of a voluminous file of many words and you can't stream through all of them, what you need to do at that point is to use find command, string it out and get the stuff. So see what I will do now. Find forward slash, then I will now specify what name of what am I looking for. Then I will give asterisk that star. So let's assume I'm looking for boot. That's just the word I'm looking for within the top. Then boots inside of what's that name again? Inside of let me see something. Two forward slash boot. Sorry, do I have any other boot? No, I can just go ahead and do boot log. So now what it will do for me instead of giving me the entire name, it just gave me the lines that we have. So find part must precede expression boot log. So possible quoted pattern after created name boot log. So it could not, maybe it could not find the word boot within the store, so it returned with that. So let me run a command I have here. Say find, right, asterisk, that's the star button or star. So I'll just look for conf.conf in the file like dev slash no. So there's a developer directory called dev. It exists within, sorry, it exists within your root directory. Remember root directory, right? So what I want to do now is to try to find the word .conf. Anywhere I say cough, is trying to cut it out from a directory, root directory. So you can see I have the etc Apache. Okay, there are a lot of directory. etc Apache to starting from etc Apache. Remember, all of this exists within the root directory, the base of the system. So I'm a little bit ahead, a little bit. So I just want to show you how to use a command called find. So it will find every word that end with or that has .conf. Check .conf. Just be checking all the word. They are .configuration. So it's trying to find all of the word. So I can also use that one to find anything called error in the system. I can find anything called prosper. Instead of looking around, I might not know that okay, prosper exists in the directory user, right? I might not know. But by the time I use that command find, I can search for a string name file within the system, right? So what I did now, I searched for the entire file inside the system, like within the entire system. That's what I did. So the next thing we'll look at right now, question before we move into the next phase. Let's
My
look.
own question is like this command, the command you used now, like
Yes,
because you added like after the find the root slash name, the star. Okay,
yes.
yes, yes. This just I just wanted to see the command. Because
You
I
want to see the command?
yes, yes, because it looked different. I just want to see it.
So can
That
you see it now? It's on my screen.
yes, I can see it now.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. All right.
So, okay, before I move into the next directory, can we talk about how do you create directory and folder? Remember, can I clear it off now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just want to get into my CD. If I do PWD, where am I now? I'm on the root, right? So I want to get into my Kali, right? So getting into my Kali right now, I want to do few stuff. Now, ls. Oh, come. That clear wasn't ls, right? See, how do I end up making files? I mean, making file and directory like this. How do you make them? How do you create them? So let's quickly look at that. There are many ways you can use. You can use, okay, let's talk about directory first. There is only a single way you can use to create a directory, except you are trying to clone something or move something into a present directory. There is only one way. To make directory, we use the command make directory. Let me show you. mkdir make directory. So for short, make directory mkdir. That's the command we use to make directory. So let's call this class 2. Oh, that's not class. So let's say we want to make a directory called class 2. Let's give it a good name. Cyber sec class 2. So cybersec class 2, that's the name of this directory I want to create. Remember I said directory is a folder. Inside of a folder, you can have content inside of a folder. You can have folder inside of a folder. You can have files inside of a folder, right? So to create a new directory, remember or check, there's nothing like cybersec class 2 here. So to make a new one, we use the command make directory, then I hit enter. So if I go with ls again, guess what? We have a new directory called cybersec class 2. That is how we make folder. Now I can now change directory to a directory called cybersec class 2. If I hit enter, guess where am I now? So if I now do pwd, guess what? So I'm working from cybersec class 2 directory. But at this point, do we have anything inside of it? I'm not sure. Let's check. ls, nothing. Could anything be hiding? Of course, yes. There are a few things that comes with a file. I mean, that comes with a file when a directory when you create it is the dot and dot dot. So that's the only thing that exists there, right? So let's step back a bit. So that's how you make folder, right? So let's make one other one just to recap what I said. How do I make folder? How do I create directory inside the Linux terminal? So I use the command make dir arrow. So the directory will now be, let's say, class 2. Hit enter. So if I now do ls, so I will be able to find a new directory called class 2. Right? So now let me change directly into the cybersec class. So if I do cd cybersec class, sorry, I'll be doing something that I had not mentioned. When I type like cd cybersec class, I didn't wait to type it in full before continuing with my stuff. So what I did is I typed cyb, I hit my tab key on my keyboard, it completed the spelling for me. For example, let's assume I want to go into lab file lab.support.files. It's quite a long something, right? So to be going through that, I can just do lab, hit tab key, complete the spelling for me. I don't know if you get that thing.
Tap the TAB, sir.
You say?
TAB key. The TAB button.
Yes,
Tab.
exactly. The TAB button with the double arrow, right? So that's what it is. So let's get into the cyber sec class. Enter. Now, remember, there's nothing inside of it. How do I now create a file? How do you create a file? How do you create a file? Many ways to do that. It depends on the ways you want to use. It depends on the way you want to use. Observe. To create a file, we used practically a command called touch. Tuch. Touch. Touch. So there's something I've not done in these classes. If you are using a command for the first time in Linux and you want to understand what the command is, you can use the manual document. There is a command called man. Man means manual. Then you will now post the thing you want to search for the manual for. For example, this touch command, I want to check the manual. Then I will now put manual, that's man in short, then touch. So I can, if it has a manual, I can see touch, change files, timestamps, description, update the access and modification time of each file to the correct time. A file argument that does not exist is created empty unless that C or help is supplied. So a file argument strings also, this is just the help. So change only the file time. If you want to change the file time, I can use touch A. If I want to do not create any files, just I can do dash C. If I want to change the date, dash D, ignore dash F, like that. So this is just the manual for that particular command. Always try to remember. For example, let's assume I don't know what make directory is. I don't know what it's used for. I can do manual m mk dir. So it will give me the manual to using make directory, or I can decide to say okay, Let me check for the help directly by using dash h, right? Okay, I think I should do that dash help. So you can also see a help option on how to use that, right? I just wanted to chip that in. Okay, now how do I create a file? So we can easily create a file. Use the command called touch. So I want to create a file called readme txt, right? But there's an issue with this file. There is nothing inside of the file. There's nothing. So although we have a new file inside of the directory called readme.txt, but if I decide to say, okay, let's view it. Remember I said to view it is cat readme.txt. It is practically empty. So the next thing is, how do we now enter a file inside that? It's quite easy. I can say echo watch. I want to put a file. Echo, what am I echoing? This is my first technical class in cyber sec with tech capacity. So echo this thing into where readme.txt. So I want to put, remember when I checked cat, nothing showed abi. Now I want to put something inside of the file. So I will hit enter, right? So if I go back to do cat readme.txt, guess what I'm seeing inside? This is my first technical class in cybersec with tech capacity. So that's just one way to do it, command line. That's one way, echoing something. What of if I want to add another line to it? Let's try that one out. Let's see, another line. So I can use the word cat, readme.txt. Observe, it just open space for me, you can see. So I cannot say the class was really interesting. Interesting and educating. So that's one line. But the the entire concept were new, sorry, to me. But I know I will cope with the course.
Sorry, sir, I want to ask a question.
Okay, as we move,
The way the way you're moving it down, are you using enter or tab?
enter.
Okay, the way it's going to another line.
Yes. So, right, so I've done this. Guess what I need to do to leave here? I can just press Ctrl C. So I've done that. Can we view the content of the file again? Sorry, that was not what I wanted to do. Ctrl C. So can we view the content of the file again by do cat readme? You will now see this is my first class. This is my last. Oh, sorry. The reason why my last line did not show because I stopped it. I did not give it space down. I don't know if you will understand. So you can see this is my first class, technical class. The class was really interesting and educating. See my interesting. But the entire concepts were new to me, right? The last one wasn't there, but I know I will cope with time. So let's get that last one into it. I know I will cope with time. Let's get it. There's a reason why it did not show. I want to tell you why. So I was supposed to hit enter to have that space. So if I type a word now, forgive me. Oh. Okay, let me not use whatever I use. Let me just say I don't care. I don't care, right? Now, if I doesn't hit enter to space it, like enter to give this space, eh? This, if I stop it here, I don't care won't show. But because I gave enter, I don't care. I I don't give I don't give, right? So observe, if I stop here without hitting that enter, that line that I just wrote, I don't give a fuck, won't show. So can we view that at? So I don't know if you can see what I'm trying to say, right? So because I did not space it, I didn't hit enter to have another line. Because I stopped it here by using Control C, this line did not show on my note. It was only this that showed. I don't know if you are getting me. So that's how we create a file. We can use touch to create the file, then we'll now echo text into it, or we'll use cats, double sign of this, then we can now start writing notes into it. I don't know if it makes sense.
Cat.
You said?
The double sign. If
Ye-
we want to we put cat, the two forward sign,
Yeah,
readme,
exactly.
and
The file,
it
then you
may not
can
be
now
readme.
write into it.
Depends on what we give the name of our file as.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So next, before I move further, I've talked about how you create file. I've talked about how, let's assume I want to copy file or duplicate file. How do I do that within Linux? So this readme.cst, I want to duplicate it. How do I do that? So there's a command called cp, which means copy, cp, copy. So what I will do in this case is to do something like copy. Remember, I have a file called readme.txt. Where am I copying it to? Uh, I will say bad. Let me just say bad, bad file dot txt. Guess what? So the content inside of readme.txt, I want to copy all of them to a file name called batfile.txt. So immediately I hit enter. So if I do ls, you have two files. Remember, I didn't move it, I copied, right? So you have a file called batfile.txt. How did I create this batfile.txt? I didn't really create it by using the command touch. I just copied the content of readme.txt into a file called batfile.txt. That's what I did. Now, if I do ls, sorry, not ls, cat of batfile.txt, you'll see the same content inside of it. How do you move? How do you copy? Right? Okay. I don't know if you got that one right.
Yes, how to copy or duplicate. We use CP, hash CP, then the name of the file and the name of the new file that we want to copy it into. Then
Exactly.
we will use
Eh,
ls to check the names, the two names,
exactly.
and we can also use cards to check what's inside.
Exactly.
Card.
So what I just did is basically for moving files. What if you want to copy directory, not file, a directory. So in order to copy a directory, you will introduce a command called recursive. Recursive, you introduce the recursive sign into it. Recursive. specified by arrow, recursive. Your document you have with you is inside of it, please. So, observe what I will do now. CD dot dot, right? Back here. Remember, if I do ls, I have just a directory called, where's the directory now? Class. So that's where I'm working with. So I want to copy what is here to a different directory. So what do? I will use the cp command dash arrow for recursive because I'm copying a directory, not a file, a directory. So I specify dash arrow. Then I will now specify cyber whatsoever, right, into where now? I'm copying this file into, let's say, class 2. So if I hit enter, remember, copy specify arrow because I'm doing recursive, I'm doing a directory. So copy what is here into this file class 2. So let's go now and do cd, or instead of doing cd class 2, I can just do ls class 2. Ls, okay, I can't view, I can, but let's do cd class 2, and if I do ls, you'll see that I have cybersec, so inside of this guy, cybersec. So if I not do ls, I mean, if I not do cd into cybersec, you cannot see where I'm working from, class 2 cybersec, right? So I just copied the entire content inside of it, right? So that's how you copy directory, right? Then what about moving a directory or renaming a directory? You move. Remember when I copied readme.txt still exists, then I now have the duplicate copy of bat5.txt. What if you want to just remove this one, move it totally? Instead of having it remain, it will move, it will go away. So in order to do that, we use a command called move. Move. Let me get into my cyber sec class. There's a command called move, right? So I want to move readme.txt, move it away, right? Remove this name to something different. So what do? I will use the command mv, which is move, then readme.txt into, let's move it into class, sorry, right? I'm moving it out of this place into class directory, or into class, I don't know, let's see, into class, okay, not a directory, I can't move it there. So I can basically just do into readme, move readme into, let me just use the word moved .txt, right? So if I now do ls, guess what? You won't see readme inside of it again. So whatever what that was inside readme has been moved to a new folder, a new file, sorry, called moved.txt. So if I want to move again, mv of move.txt, I cannot move it to, I will select a new file name. I'll say restore.txt. So if I do ls, there's no move again, we have the restore. Let's say I want to move the restore back to move the restore back to readme.txt. So back, I have my readme. So it's just a way to, I don't know if it gets it, a way to move files around. So move it to here, here, then here, right? Hello, I don't know if you get that.
No,
Yes, sir.
this
So,
one now, like,
You said?
I'm with you, sir.
Okay. So you were asking question, Vega.
No, no, I'm just saying like you ask if you understand. Like this one now, somebody can actually use that MAN too to check what the MV can be actually moved for because I this one is kind of tacky because this last command I said is how to move or rename a directory.
Yes, move and rename the directory.
Yes, okay. All right. So the command is MV,
MV, yeah.
the
No, sorry, not
directory.
directory. A file, please.
Okay, how to
Correct
move
that.
or rename
A
a file.
file, not directory. So to move a directory, now let's talk about directory. Since you already mentioned directory, remember you must add the recursive sign to it too. So what about deleting a file? How do you do that? You want to delete, you want to remove a file. Remember, I want to remove this bad file.txt. It still exists here. Observe it. This bad file.txt. How do I remove it? There's a command called rom, remove, right? So what I need to do now is just to remove bad file.txt. So I hit enter. If I do ls, it's no longer there. And once it's gone like that, it's gone. Oh. You will now use, you need to now add Ugube to return it. So I've removed
What
file,
do you
right?
do?
So how do you now remove a directory? Remember, add your recursive file. Just want to go back a bit. So there's a directory here called class 2 here, class 2. So how do I remove it? I can just do rom recursive sign because it's a directory. I cannot specify class 2. So if I do ls now, class 2 is nowhere to be found, right? So that's how you
Hmm.
just play around. I don't know how many tools, I mean, how many commands we have talked about today now. Talked about
Yes.
Sir,
many.
sorry, bro. I want to like you said to move or rename a file, it is hash mv, but to move or rename a directory, that one is rm.
You must put the recursive
And
side, that arrow. Arrow specify that you are working with a directory. Where is it? Where did I use it? So whether I'm copying, removing, or moving, if I put this arrow, observe, right? It specifies that I'm working with a directory.
directory, okay,
Hello,
okay,
sir.
okay.
Yes,
Suppose that's directory now that you remove. Can't is there no any way probably if being deleted by mistake can be recovered? Or is it gone finally?
it can be recovered, except the only way it can be recovered, except I'm using, let me show you something, except I'm using something like this dash arrow. I will now use arrow f dash arrow f. So if I specify this, that means I can't recover it again, but with this it can be recovered. So that one takes time. I mean, you get to forensic to understand that. I won't get into that one
Okay.
now. It can be recovered. It's possible that it's your, what was that thing called? Um, is it recycle bin? It's possible it could be there now.
It's like
You don't know you have recycle bin inside Linux. You do, right? So
Okay.
except I'm using this command. So this one means pata pata forever. Clear it. So that's why they don't advise you to use that command when trying to remove file or anything. This is what time now? 126. So I've talked about how to find stuff. I've talked about okay, I didn't finish with that find. I was supposed to do something before I enter this move and remove. Okay, I was supposed to talk about permissions, Linux permissions. Before we now look at some networking commands on Linux. So, but remember, there is also a command called locate. Let me quickly just discuss it a bit. Locate is a command that is used to find. Please do make use of this material. The only way we can be really better here in this class is when I give material, eat it as if you want to write exam tomorrow. So all these things are there a little bit, right? So locate
Okay, sir.
command is used to find files on the system. Locate uses a database called updatedb. which contains an index of files on your systems, and the locate command quickly searches the database. So basic usage, let's say I'm looking for, so let me say locate, just observe now. Let's say I'm looking for a log file called boot. Remember, that's the boot log.log was actually somewhere inside var, right? So I'm looking for this file. I can just do locate dash. So it will help me find where I can see it. So he went into the system, he search, he uses a command called update db. This locate now is using a tool called update db to look for this name inside the system. So he went in search and came back and said, okay, you can find boot.log at var log boot 1, boot 2, boot 3, boot 4, boot 5, just to locate file. Let's assume I want to locate a malware now. Okay, let me say locate. So let's assume a script or a bat script is running on my system. I want to locate bat. So it will search anywhere I have bat as a file, whether a file name, anything, BAT, it will go in there and search for the bat, rush bat. So these are bat scripts for stuff. Let's say I want to locate ESE, exec file. I can hit enter. It will go and give me anywhere I can see exec, wherever they add exec. So to make it very good, I can just do dot, sorry, I can do locate, uh, let's start it to be dot ese. So it will only look for the ese extension file for me. So it went into the system trying to look for, that's what we use locate to do. There's another command called which, W-I WHICH, which this command is used to obtain information about the part of a specific command. So let's say I have a command here. I have a command here called uh, let's say Bob. Sorry, is that how I spell Bob? Pop suit, right? So I can use a command called which to locate up to obtain the information of this particular command or obtain the part information. This is especially useful when understanding which version of program is being used with multiple users installed. So if I now do which Bob suit, it will say Bob suit is user B Bob suit, or which I think I don't know if I have Python, which Python, you can see it. So which Python 3, I think I also have Python 3 user, right? They are all tools in my user directory. So all of this helps to make command very nice. Before I get into explaining control, let's talk about test editor. There are quite a number of test editor here on this terminal here. If I don't know if you can see my mouse, this note with a red, yeah, it's a simple test editor. If you open it up, you can use it to create tests, right? So you also have a test editor called Nano, right? Nano is another test editor where you can use to write tests. So I'll just exit. How do I do that? Control X. Yes. I hit enter. Control X. Yes. Control C. Okay. Control X. Yes. Control X. Save the modifier exactly. Yes. Then
Write a file name.
is that?
Eh, I'm seeing something down there.
It's telling me to add a file name. I mean, I didn't want to do that. Let's call it anything. So if I do ls, I will remove it. So this is the file. How do I remove a file, please?
How
Uh-huh.
then the name of the file.
Sorry, thank you. Right, so Nano is there to create a test file. Let's quickly get into an interesting part. Interesting part. Understanding. Can I ls now? Okay. Let's get into ls dash, right? Understanding file directory. At this point, let me see if I can help us with a notepad to support my lecture. So we want to make a good use of file directory. Understanding user privilege, the file direct contents of the file. That's what I want to look at now. So permissions. What do we mean by permission, right? So I am viewing file from Kali directory, right? So I discovered that a lot of the directory here on file, they have some properties attached to it. For example, they have this, 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 this. Right? What is all these things? Right? So let's start from the point. Uh, Now I want to start from D. D means directory, right? Any content here that is a directory will always start with the letter D. So apart from D, I'm separating D from the rest now. From the arrow WX to arrow WS to arrow dash X, it means something. What does it mean? Arrow WS is one, is for a user. Arrow WS is for another user. Arrow dash S is for another user. What does it mean? Arrow means read, W means write, S means execute. So let's take it out. Okay, let me just copy this entire guy, take it to my notepad, and paste it here so that I will be able to use it to explain. So remember, I'm separating this. So this one means that the file or the something is a directory. It means it is a directory, right? The D, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just you get it, don't worry. This one means read. This one means write. While this one means execute. I'm trying to explain everything there. I don't know if you are getting me.
Yes, yes. I get it.
So the content of the file still remains, right? But
Yes, sir.
remember, D is for directory, as we have said, Abby.
Yes, sir.
So this read, write, and execute, I will separate it. Read, write, and execute, I will separate it. Now, this first read, write, and execute, you are seeing the first one, hmm, belongs to the owner of the file. It is the right of the owner of the file. That is that. So the owner of the file of this particular file that you saw there, which is the file now, Android or whatsoever, the owner of that file has the ability or has the power to read, write, and execute the file. I don't know if you are getting me on.
Yes,
I get
yes.
it, sir.
Okay. So I just want to give you space for now. This D is under directory. Oh, directory. While this one is owner, right? Owner of the file. So this next one you are seeing here, no, that one. This one is for group owner, the group. Let's say the owner is Prosper. Prosper belongs to a group, right? So the owner of the file, that means that created the file, owner, according to this file we have, 100 rats, the owner has the right to read, write, and execute. The group that this guy belongs to, and everybody in the group too, has the right to read, write, and execute. Hello? I don't know if you are getting that.
Hello, sir. Getting you.
Eh?
You are getting me, sir. That
Okay.
is the group the owner belongs to, Abi.
Yes, the group the owner belongs to also has the right to read, execute, right to read, write, and execute. All right. So the
Yes,
last
sir.
one, which is the arrow dash S, is for others. Others. Others in this case, others in this case only have the right to read, but they cannot write, they can execute. That's the permissions of that particular file called Android rats. So that's the permission of the file. I don't know if you understand with the demonstration I did.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 11, what is this 11? It means the number of content inside of the directory plus the directory itself. Let's see that. Let's see that. Hello, Android. I'm seeing 11. Simply means we have about 11 content inside of it plus about 10 content inside of it plus this name Android rat, which is 11. So if I do cd into Android rat now, and I do ls, let's count the contents. Please, let's count. I have 1, 2, 3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
7, 8,
7, 8,
9,
9,
10,
10,
11, 12.
11,
Now
12.
see what we are counting. We are counting the directories, not file. We are counting the blue color. So before we count the blue color, let's do the hidden directory. What's that hidden directory now? Dash A, right? Can we count again?
Yes, sir.
1,
1,
2,
2, 3,
3, 4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8,
8, 9,
9. So one of these, I don't know if it's this or this, 10 plus this name outside, 11. We are not counting the files. So let's go back and use another example. So let me enter into uh, public has two. Okay, project has two. Let me enter. Which are the project now? Project has to, let me get into projects and see. If I now do cd into project, so ls, so guess what? There's nothing. Okay, we only have, no, this is not a directory. This is a file. How do I know it's not a directory? Let's do ls dash l. So remember I said every directory must start with d. You remember?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's not a directory. So to get the right direction, I can do ls dash la. Remember, dash l is to list the properties of this content. A is to check the file. So I can combine the two commands together, dash la, right? So here I have, I think, okay, this is the directory now. This directory, which is 1 dot plus this project that is outside 2. That was makes up 2 projects. Let's look at this one that is 3 desktop, right? Or okay,
Mr.
let's
Pastor,
look
Mr.
at
Pastor, I
the
have a question.
Mr.
Mr.
Abi,
Pastor,
okay.
please, sir, let me come down a bit, sir, to that project. The
Okay.
last one we did now.
yes,
Mr. Pastor, look at this second one with the two dot also. I think that
Yes.
one too is also starting with the directory.
Is a directory, but it might not be counted. I can't remember how we used to do, but we don't assume it. We don't take one of them. So we just take the only dots. The dot, no, we don't add it to it as
Okay.
parts.
so sir, the command ls-le said is used to check
So it
the
does
everything.
two things. ls dash la does three things. Remember, ls is to list the content. Abi?
Yes. Yes.
L is to check the properties, like properties. A is to check for the hidden files. So I now put all of them together as okay, list, check, let me show the properties and also list the hidden file. So I'm just doing everything at once.
Okay.
Right? So this is
Yes.
how you can count the directory. I just trying to break the basics to you. Now another thing here is root roots. Root is the owner of the file. Root. Okay, root is an owner. I don't know if you understand that. Why the group
Okay.
root belongs to is root. So remember the owner here, which has this permission, is root. So let me, so here, root here, this root is owner, while this other root is the group. So we'll see what we can do. Group. While this is the size, file size, it was created in May 11, like that, right? So root is the owner, this, 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 this. Um, we can play with the ownership and stuff like that. So I just want us to understand the permissions. Now, there's another file that doesn't appear in this format. It appears like this, like this. Where is that one I was using? Okay, like this now. I'm not trying to manipulate this file because it's very important to me. So let's copy this one out. So who can tell me the difference between these two without me saying it?
Okay.
This first one and the second one.
I think this one is only
Read and write.
good and right. Then
Start
the
from the
group,
beginning
I
of the
think,
file, the beginning of what you are saying. There's
Is it
dash in
okay?
front now.
Okay, the
okay.
dash of the RW.
Yes.
I think the RW is the owner, can only read and write.
Forget to read that. I start from the dash. What does the dash mean?
Dash. That would be
Huh?
like the directory. Inside the directory, R dash. You read inside what is inside the directory.
I like the way you form it.
No,
So,
I think it's like the file that I think just like the file alone can only be read and write, but cannot be executed.
okay. So let me explain. You guys tried. Dash here means is a file, not a directory. D means is a directory, not a file. I don't know if you get that.
Okay,
So
sir.
by the time I run this command, anytime I see dash in front, that is a file, it's not a directory. By the time I
I didn't
see D
understand.
in front of them, it means okay, that is a directory, a folder, it's not a file. Let me show you, it happened here now. So see here, you can see dash 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 in front of many things. Simply means is they are all files. It's not that read into no, they are all files. You can see this the same this one with a different permission, right? It also has dash. This one with a lesser permission. This one with a very small permission also has dash, right? So dash here is specifying that it is a file, not a directory. I don't know if you get me. Why the D here is specifying that it's a directory, not a file. Dash is
Fine.
a file, not a directory. So let's go back to the notepad. So you said the owner has the right to read, write, but not what?
You cannot execute.
Execute. What about this one now? This one. Who owns this one?
I think this is the group.
Okay, the
They can
group
only read. Yes.
cannot write, cannot execute.
Yes,
So
sir.
what about this one?
Others, they can
Others.
only read also.
Okay. So who is the owner? What is this one? What does this one mean?
This one means the owner.
Now,
So
the
what
second
does
one
this
is the
one?
group. Group.
That's the group.
Okay. So created so day and so day like that. Now let's get into. I hope I still have my. Let me go back a bit. This project is my PowerShell bash scripts. So let's go back a bit and see ls. So let's move into sec file, right? Just observe what I want to do. Sec, right? I'm inside of it now. We only have this file. Let's create more files inside. So let's make directory first of all. Make directory. Let's call directory test one. Let's make another directory and call it the directory test two. So let's create more file like touch write.me.txt. So I wanted to make file. So we have this now. If I now use the word ls-l, you'll see that this is a directory. Test one. Test two is a directory because of you can see the D in front. While
Yes,
readme
sir.
is a test file, while this is a test file. So we're looking at the privileges now. Let's quickly alter the privileges. You see this test file. Okay, let me copy the readme.txt and test file. I will bring it out on the notepad because I want to run some manipulation right now. Right? So let me just give a space. So now we want to, where's the first one I did? Okay. We want to create, this. We want to see how we can manipulate this permission and see how we treat it. For example, I will want to affect the permission, not just affect the permission, I will also affect the users. I will also affect the group just to manipulate it. For example, this one you are seeing with more permissions right now, right? Let me separate them. So I just want to change it, see how we can do, right? Remember, we are dealing with permissions on the system, permissions. So first of all, let's learn a command. How? Okay, let's assume the character. I want to change the name of this guy now. To instead of Kali now, let me replace it with let's say sec. So let it be sec. Why the group? Eh? Let it be cyber, right? So I want to create a new user called sec that will own the file. Then I will now create a new group for this user called what's this guy called now? Called sec. I will now put it into a group called cyber. So the same thing I will do for here, right? Now, what do I need to do? So I need to get into my Linux. First of all, create a user called sec. So the command will be add user. So because I need sudo privilege, remember, I'm trying to perform something, adding a user. So I will need a sudo privilege to run this. So I will just do add user. So I will not specify sec. So because provide the password as a new, right? So do you want to put password for a user called sec? Let me just put the default Kali password. Do you want to retype to confirm the password? Enter. Do you want to specify the full name of this guy? His name is Seth. It's okay. Enter. Room number and non get. Work phone number and non get. Home number and non get. So we are just, this is how you create a normal user, right? Order, nothing. So is this information correct? Of course, yes. So I have created a new user called, what's it called now? Sec, right? So let's create quickly, not create. Let's add the group. So in order to do that, we'll also run sudo group add, right? So remember the group add I want to add. What's that name again? Cyber. So I've added the guy Cyber into this group. So to add the user into this group, that sec guy, the sec I just created. Hello?
Hello, I'm with you, sir.
Okay. To add this user into the group, I will do the sudo again. I will say, where's my user now? User mode. Is that my, sorry. User mode dash A cap letter G. So the group, remember, I want to add sec into cyber. I don't know if you are getting me now. This sec now, remember, is a
Is a
user. It's
user.
not yet inside a group called cyber I've created.
Okay.
Okay. You just want to add it.
Yes, I want to add it. So I'm doing
Username.
the A means append. G means the secondary group. So that means sudo user mode as I'm trying to add user, append user into a group. What's the group name? Cyber, Abi? So who is the user I want to put inside cyber? Is sec.
Sec.
So I've put sec inside this group called cyber. I will next class when we meet, I will teach this again, right? I will do account management, user management. I think I have it now in my script, but I'm not sure we can get there right now because time is already fast spent and my system is blinking low, 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 right?
Okay, sir.
So the next class, you will tell me, could it be tomorrow? Yes, we can meet tomorrow now. Can we not meet tomorrow?
We can meet. Depends.
What time do you think? Tomorrow is Sunday.
Tomorrow is okay. It's not today, Saturday.
Okay, we
Like
can meet Saturday evening. We can meet Saturday evening.
evening, today evening.
Yes, today evening. What time today evening?
What time is okay for you, sir? Your time.
Let's say 7.
7 in the evening.
Yes. Ejinawa Jude, you are not there again. You are disconnected. Ejinawa Jude.
Like it's like it went off. Or
So
is it still
7. So we'll stick with our 7, right?
okay, sir?
Okay. So my battery is really I don't know how many percent left. Let me just 26%. Okay. So I've added cyber guy into this group. So the next thing now is to change the permission, uh, change ownership and change permission. So let me see if I can quickly do that. Right? Let's do ls again dash f. So remember I'm working with these two files here. So it presently have this right. So before I talk about changing it, let's do a little bit of mathematics. Where was I? Okay, let me pick this file. So there is a month to this thing. This V, this thing is equivalent. This number you are saying is equivalent to total of 7. Where arrow is equal to 4, where W is equal to 2, where X, where's my X now? X equal to 1. So altogether, it makes 7. Arrow is 4, read is 4, W is 2, X is 1, all mixed up to 7, right? Now, quick question. If you find something like arrow, sorry, wait, arrow W dash, what does it mean? What is the total number? If you find
That's okay.
arrow dash S, what is the total number? If you find dash dash S, what is the total number? If you find arrow dash dash, what is the total number?
Sir, one question, sir, first. Say there's no like addition or subtraction there. It's just the figure we see. Because if R is 4 and W is 2, the first one, that's supposed to be 6. I don't know the dash now in front.
Okay,
The
this one will be
RW
what?
6.
Okay. So what about this one?
The RX, that's supposed to be 5.
5. Okay. What about this one?
This X is 1.
Okay. What about this one?
That's that is R is 4.
Okay. So that's basically what it is. Now, to now assign permissions, I need to work with these numbers. So if I want the owner to be able to read, write, and execute, I will put the word 7 because I want it to do everything. So if I want the group to be able to read and execute only, I will put 5 because X, arrow and S is 5. If I want others to be able to read only and not execute, I will put 4.
Okay.
So I cannot use 7, 6, 4, 7, 5 like that. So that's how I want to run it right now. So the first thing I want to do, let's change ownership of the file from Kali guy to our new guy called sec. So to change ownership, I always use sudo change own, change own, that's CHOWN, change own. Then the guy name is sec. He belongs to a group called cyber. I don't know if you are getting me. And the file name, the directory I want to change now is test one. Hit enter. Did you get what I just did?
Yeah, this one you're trying to change the
The
ownership
owner,
or change.
owner and the group of this file,
Okay.
or this file called test one. So remember it was Kali Kali before. So if I now do ls dash l, guess what it will now be? It will now be sec cyber. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to do. Hello?
So I'm with you, sir. No, really, but this side is kind of confusing.
You said?
No, it's just this. Okay, it has changed to cyber now. This one. That means we are
Okay.
changing.
I changed the owner and the group of this directory test one. So it's no longer owned by Kali. It is now owned by a new owner called Sec Cyber. Right?
Okay,
So
sir.
now to analyze this, let's just give a little bit of analysis to what we have done. So if I want to give analysis to, okay, who owns this file right now? See what I would do. See what I would do. I would do something like Let me see. Mm, okay. To change the directory in everything. There is one thing I've not put in the recursive side. So everything inside. For example, what I just changed, I changed the ownership to sec. For example, if this file sorry, not file, if the directory contains other things, I have not yet given the right for sec to own every other thing that are inside of this directory. So there's a way I will do that to own everything inside. I will use the recursive side. That's sudo change on. So I will now specify the arrow. Yeah, this arrow is a cap letter. So which is recursive. That means I'm trying to say everything, both the folder and everything inside, own it. You have access, you have right to it.
That's
That's the
the
difference
capital.
between the one I did. This one I did means just you have access to this file. But if anything is
Yes.
inside, you don't have right to. But the file inside, you have access. I mean, this directory, you have access. Every file inside might not be your own, but now you get the
Okay.
same. Just like you have a bank. All the money inside the bank is not your own. Eh? But you own the bank. People can put money. That's what I try to do here. Okay, you have a directory, people can put file side. Doesn't mean that the file side is your own. But this one I did means the file, the directory, everything inside is now yours. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's what I did with the recursive side. So how do I change the permission? Different ways. It said that I use the calculation. It said that I use the what's that called? It said that I use letters. So let's simply do calculation. To change it, I will do sudo. I think change mode can work here. Change mode without sudo. So it's not change on. Ownership is change on. To change privileges, remember, I want to make this guy now. I want to make the owner read, write, and execute. The group should read and write only. Observe, you tell me what to do. The group to read and write only, while the other should only read but not write and execute. So I'm changing mode right now. So remember, I said the owner we have the right to read, write, and execute. So what number would that one be?
Say the owner will have that will be 7.
7. So I
Yes.
want the others to be able to read, write, but not execute. What number would that be?
The others will be able to read,
Read,
write,
write, but
but
not
not
execute.
that is 6.
So I want, uh,
Papa,
sorry, group. Yes,
we have lost to.
Okay, okay,
Ah,
okay. Like you went off
you went
before
off
you
now. Before
started.
you came, we have moved. So what happened? Where did
I
you
know.
lose?
I did
Around
from that pseudo, but I understand that pseudo shown sex cyber test one, just like the way you explain now. But from this total 12, I don't understand.
From where?
yes,
I
yes,
don't
yes.
understand.
He doesn't know how you change the one that has the capital R.
Arrow.
Yes,
Is
the
this
R.
one?
This one that has yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
That's where he
okay.
said
Let
he
me
doesn't
repeat.
understand.
Let me repeat. I was saying that I changed ownership. This was look at this guy. This text
Oh,
direct right. The previous
Yes, sir.
owner, Kali,
what's
and the
Kali?
group it belongs to was Kali.
Kali.
So I now said, okay, let me change ownership to sec. Then the group will now be cybersec. So my
Okay.
system is really down. Let me quickly try to explain this, right? So by the time we check, we now discover it
Yes, sir.
has changed, have we?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, but I now said this command I did here,
Shown.
we make sec and cybersec own this file, but not the things that are inside. They can't own what is inside. I use example. I say
Okay.
you can own a bank, but you are not the owner of the money inside. Though. So you can put
Okay,
money inside
sir.
your bank. Doesn't mean because you own the bank, you own the money. I don't know if you get me
I understand,
with
sir.
this command. But I now say to have access to the directory and everything inside, I use the recursive arrow. That means
Oh,
right now
okay.
he owns everything inside and everything. I don't know if you get that's what I just did.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So let's change this directory. So I said I'm working on this directory. I want the owner to be able to read, write, and execute. He says 7.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Hello,
Okay,
sir.
I'm here.
Sorry to it's like he wasn't there when you did the math something.
Are you sure?
RW7.
Oh,
Yes, I'm
so
not there. Oh.
Yes, yes, this one. So you're supposed to see the screen now.
I said
Uh-huh. I'm seeing it.
the this sign you see arrow SW. I told you it's for read, write, and execute. It had the mathematics to it. So the arrow is arrow WX. They are the total of it all is 7. It gives total of 7.
Okay.
Where arrow is 4, W is 2, S is 1. That's the total of 7. So I now give small
Okay, sir.
mathematics. I said, what if you want to make the owner or group read right but not execute? It says 6. That means 4 plus 2.
It's
Read
true.
right. Then I ask, what about read and execute? You say 4 plus 1, 5. I don't know if you are getting it.
Right. I've gotten it, sir.
So that's the idea of assigning permission. Now I'm back here.
Okay, sir.
Remember that this entire permission specified 3 different groups: the owner, the group,
Yes,
and
sir.
others. Abi?
Yes, sir.
So I said I want the owner to be able to read, write, and execute. What do I do? What number will I put there?
7, sir.
Okay. I want the group to be able to read, write, but not execute. What will I do?
That's 6.
6. So I want the others to be able to read only, but not write and execute. What will I put?
To read only that's
Only read.
RWX. Only read is 4.
Okay. So I will now specify 764 against the name of the file now, test 1. So he said change more operational permission, so I need sudo to run it. So my system is stable. Let's use this one and just call it a day. Sudo, right? Change mode. So if I now do ls dash air, guess what? Can we analyze where's the file now? This file. Compare it with this previous file here. Tell me the difference, what you saw. So as you can see, the owner has the right to read, write, and execute. Group has the right to read and execute, write and read without
Read
executing, while others have the right to read, right? So that's how
read
we
only.
change permissions of file. So when you went off, we were talking about meeting today evening. Is it possible from your end that we meet today evening?
Yes, sir. It's possible. I'm not going anywhere, sir.
Okay, so
I'm
we're
free.
meeting by 7 in the evening.
Okay, sir. Thank
Okay.
you so much, sir.
So I will be
Okay,
stopping now. My system battery is on.
Okay, sir.
okay, sir.
We
Visual
see
class.
later. Please remember to use these notes. By the time we come in the evening, we might be looking at networking. Just a little bit of, okay, I'm not done with PowerShell. We'll look at PowerShell a little bit. Then maybe we'll dive into networking a little bit and see what we can do. I don't know if you understand me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so uh, do have a good night rest.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very, very
Yes,
much.
sir.